seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past. Wisdom is of the future.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode. I wasn't planning to do anything, but since I had this really nice comments from Jamil, I'm sorry if I am mispronouncing your name. You are concerned that it's not much explanation about certain things, but you already told me that you found my website and had a little bit more information. So I'm going to be addressing whatever you are bringing up in this comment, and also I am going to address this one as well. This is from Kevin. He's bringing some stuff about the conspiracy. There is no such thing as a right conspiracy. Thank you both for the comments. I always welcome any comments, especially the one that are constructive criticism, because that way I know one thing, that viewers are paying attention to what I am saying, and I learn from them. I see the way they see the world. Okay, so let's get into this today's subject, and it is going to be in segments, because before explaining the Agenda 21, I need to sort of lie down some ground for that, so you can, at the end of this video, understand that. Also, I am going to be addressing the suspicious observers, the Ben's rant that he did on Facebook, and some other stuff, and also the Diehold Foundation and Douglas, what his take is on this whole Ice Age. First, we need to look at what the government is. You do know that US and most countries follow the same model. It was born over 200 years ago. You do know that the secret society, like Masons, were part of the creation of that. Jefferson wanted, for example, the US to be by the people, for the people, but that didn't happen. The first people that created government were aristocratic class. When you are in that group, you want to make sure that you don't lose your privileges, make sure that you still are where you are, that no one takes that away from you. The first days, the writing of the Constitution and planning all the system how to set up, it took a lot, because they wanted to make sure that no one takes over, that there is no possibility for one group of the people to take over the whole control of the whole country or world or people. So they were to put in place things like Senate and Congress and all the other elements that were overlooking that. However, over the period of 200 years, since it was built by the corporate world, which are the aristocratic class, they slowly were buying those politicians that were in the government. If the aristocrats didn't want to run for the office, because that was too much work for them, they were too lazy, they simply ask other people to do that for them, and in return they got money. You can see that right now is the same situation, that the government is so corrupted, all the institutions are so very corrupted, but there is nothing lost. Like, there is a really group of people within the government and above the government, because if you know Jesse Ventura, in one of his programs, he mentioned that the structure of the government is such that you need a clearance to access certain services and be able to do certain things. That was they were a preventive measures to make sure that the right people are in the right places. Over the period of time of more than 100 years, this whole thing got screwed up, and the clearance sometimes is in the hands of very dangerous people. So he's disclosing that there are 26 levels of clearance, but actually there are 28. Those two above, they don't need to be, but they are there. So you do understand that this is very complex, that the president or any head of the country is not the one running the show. It's responding to a group of people that he's surrounded with, and usually they are the oligarchs. The oligarchs don't do that themselves, they are using politicians which are already in the government. There is one more thing. We know that people are blaming Masons and Illuminatis and all the secret societies that they are the one who are running the show. That's not correct. They are only part of it, they are element of it. In each group of those people, there are doctors, there are engineers, there are scientists, there are all kinds of specialists. Out of those groups, few are selected, which then form different groups. They are also attached to the mother lodge or group where they came from, but they are already focused on something else. And out of, let's say, on a state level, they are overlooking. They are like consultants. They are like the briefing people, giving ideas. They don't control anything. And then out of them, there is another group which has on the country level where they are overlooking this. This is the so-called High Council. Within those groups, there are also people that have clearance to scientific discoveries, to very sophisticated technologies and other projects that people do not have. And they are overlooking that to make sure that whatever is being released to the public does not pose any dangers, that is not being misused by people. Out of all those, there is a global High Council. Those are my names. I invented them. I don't know what they call them. In that hierarchy, they are really masters of very specialized fields. They have unusual gifts, usually. They are selected from themselves, from all those high councils from each country. And their job is to look at what is happening, to maintain, to help maintain what we need, to present to us or activate all the stuff that is needed for us, for the public, to function normally, to overlook any dangers coming our way, catastrophic events coming our way, and so on. And their job is the same like the others, consultations, briefing, and they have contact with the other side, with the world that we cannot see. It's very physical, I will explain that, and it's very interactive with us. We are exchanging information at that level. This is more advanced, because what we see is very, this is like what the physical world that we see is only 1%. The other physical world that we cannot see is 99%. And most of the stuff that we are perceiving as a real originates somewhere else. The manifestation that we see, this is only 1% of the physical world, and the 99% that we cannot see, the other physical world, is the one that is staging all that stuff that is we are interacting with. Let me explain this. I know that most of you know this. There is a lot of conspiracy going on around with that. There were many media outlets that did programs about that. I did a bit of a research what this is all about. They did research about the secret societies and was not. As you can see on the image, the apex of that pyramid is not touching the rest of the pyramid. There is a reason for that. That apex is not a controlling part. The apex has an eye. This is the overlooking eye. I see all there is. This is something that people do not understand. They don't want to understand. And even if you try to explain to them, they tell you that you're an idiot. I try to do that. However, I am convinced that many of you watching this channel are a bit different and will listen. As I explained, the apex is not for controlling. This is the High Council right there. The people there, they do not looking for control of anything. They simply do briefing, they do consultation, counseling, where they explain what is about to happen, how the energy are playing right now, what to expect, what the countermeasures can be. That's what the apex does. Now the rest of the pyramid that's we, with all the governments, all the institutions, with all the stuff that is happening right now in the world. Below there is a sign, Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is so misunderstood by so many people, it's just a joke. This does not mean, if you translate this, go and do that in the Google Translator and you will see this is the new world order, not new world government or superpower or someone who is seeking power. New order means that the system that we have in place is not working and it's time to replace it with something new, to create new order where we are all involved in this, where everyone participates. That's why this image, that's why the texts, that's why all the elements in that image that are on $1 bill of US currency is placed in such a way. This, I think, is a big overview of that. I am not going to go in details in this video because that will be addressed some other time. Let's right now establish what actually spirituality is. This is spirituality. This is not. This is spirituality. This is not. So let me explain why. First of all, those two, they are cults. And those folks here, they are asking you to do some stuff to become spiritual. That's all BS. Plain and simple. In here, as you know, spirit means an essence. Here is enjoying every second of your life as it is, not caring for anything else. This is spirituality. Those young souls, they do understand, they recognize the other part of you, me, and I in another being. Spirituality is about being, not doing. So make sure you understand that before you fall for any ideas what people are claiming the spirituality is. Spirituality, I am repeating again, is about being. It is about your essence. You are always spiritual no matter what. And if someone is telling you that you need to do certain things to be more spiritual, it's a load of crap. Yeah, you heard me correctly. The essence is the spirit, and being spiritual means being in the presence or in the present, not doing something. Doing something does not increase your spirituality or what's not. All those gurus and leaders in that field, they are trying to bring to your attention all your shortcomings, how imperfect you are, and what you need to do to be more spiritual. All garbage, all of it. Forget it. Now let's bring some other subject, which is the universal principles. You do know that our body is nothing but waves. It's, some would say there's energy, but energy is nothing more than just frequency. So the photons in our body, they are going in and out of the shape constantly. They are being replaced. They are going back, forth. In other words, our body is being replicated constantly. That's how it works. Science, our science of today does not recognize that very well. I mean, we already, by scientific measures, accept that, but not everyone. And in any scientific discoveries or observations, this part needs to be included, but it's not. So it's cherry picking, including the cosmology. It's not including the invisible world, which is also physical, and all the elements that are going with it, as well as the subtle energies that are the main triggers for what is happening. You also do understand that science is in the hands of corporate system, is financed by the corporate world, because we do not have enough money as individuals to support that. But even with taxes, what we pay, it's still going right through the corporate system anyway. Media, which is owned by corporations, by the oligarchs, has hand with that as well. So whatever information is coming to you about, let's say, the agenda or the government or the changes that are coming right now, all the COVID situation, is going through them. Since they are part of the corporate system, they decide how to present that to this world. And usually that media is not presenting stuff that is not beneficial to them. Whatever they are saying is done so they have profits from this. The most profits are coming from problems. When there is a crisis, so they benefit from that the most, because people are glued to the screen, they are watching the news and so on. That's the whole concept. So the media is not in the best interest to present to you the new discoveries, the new view of the world, the new how the government actually works. They are the one that's spreading lots of conspiracies, especially about the Masons, the Illuminatis, even though they know that they are not the one that running the show, that the connection between the government and the corporate is so dangerous right now, but the only way to prevent a serious problem, the corporate world needs to collapse. So what you see right now, it's the process of that happening. Because the two levels above the government is nothing but corporation. The military, the police, the health, all the drug companies, you know that they are all corporations, right? And I already explained to you, they have people within the government. On top of that, there are people from the secret societies that they have people in there as well. They monitor that. I said that many times, that when there is Cain, there is Abel. There are those two twins. They are always going to be a package deal. When one idiot is going to try to do something stupid, the other one is going to try to offset. And that's what is happening with those dealings right now. The people that are part of the groups, the secret societies, they are passing the message farther and farther and farther until it reached that apex. And then from there comes suggestions. They don't do control anything, they don't do enforce anything. They simply suggest, okay guys, maybe do this, maybe do that. They do understand human psychology, and many times those ideas that are coming from there, they are dead on point. And the logistics with that is usually, this is very clever, passed on to the corporate system. The dirty workings are done by the corporate system. And right now they are biting their own foot. They are destroying themselves by themselves. That's how clever the design is. Kevin mentioned that I'm talking a lot about conspiracies, governments, and so on. That is basically all conspiracies. See, that's not correct, but you do understand that truth cannot be told, needs to be found. It's as simple as that. Whatever I am saying, I am presenting my view of the world and what I know about this world. Now, to you, that may seem unrealistic or far-fetched or what's not. And let me give you an example why that is. You do understand the judicial system. In the judicial system, when you go to court and you know the proceedings, there are usually 12 jurors sitting on a bench, listening to the arguments, looking at the evidence, and then listen to each side how they interpret that evidence. And then they go and they deliberate. They try to figure out which possibilities that they were presented with are the most possible. And then they conclude that, and then they read the verdict either someone is guilty or not guilty. That's how it is in life. The evidence that I have at hand that I am unable to share with you is good enough for me, but for you may not be. Therefore, it's your job to put some effort and look clarification on your own. In fact, everyone should do that. That's my job. This channel is not about presenting this is the truth. This channel is more of trying to change your perception, help you change your perception, because through the schooling system you were told what to do, you were told what the answer is, you were told how to behave, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. This is all garbage. There is no inappropriate behavior. There is just a behavior, and some people accept it, some people don't accept it. There is no wrong answer. There is a answer, and then based on circumstances, that answer can be correct or incorrect. Same thing here. The evidence does a squat. Anyone can take that evidence and translate or interpret the way they want it. So there you go. If it goes to the vaccines, I'm going to repeat that. You do understand that the people that are making those vaccines, they get together in such a quick time to produce them, deliver them, and administrate them. And somehow they all knew what's the ingredient supposed to be, how they're supposed to be made, and in what proportions. So from this, you can see that someone had to tell them, because they wouldn't figure out independently how that is. The same thing with the COVID situation, the lockdowns and whatnot. You could see that it happened everywhere at the same time. That was very well planned and organized in advance. So you understand, there is some other underlying cause, not so much cause, but goal to achieve through that. We will see what that is. I kind of know, but I already told you it is about collapsing the whole corporate system, because it's useless. The corporate system is the main cause of environmental damage, family life destroyed, depression, and all the negative stuff. So why would 90% of the world, or 99% or 98% of the world suffer on the behalf of 2% that have everything and they don't know what to do with that? It doesn't make any sense. That's why this has to be reversed. It has to be reset. That's why reset. If it comes to Texas, that is something that is not a secret. Texas was a country before. They are the last that joined the union. They didn't want it, and they are being again on the path to separation, because they know that this collapse may not work very well, and the billionaires, they want to have a country of their own where they can come and have their own goodies. So therefore Texas was chosen as the one that is going to be for billionaires. And you know that because Bezos is there with the launch pad and the underground stuff. That's not for him, that's for all of them. So you need to kind of read between lines. And with the vaccines, if you understand that in the production there were the stem cells, and a little bit you understand the electric universe and the life is electricity. Now if you put those two things together, you have a bit different picture. And by the way, when you read the flyer that is coming with the vaccines, you can request that from anyone who is giving you the vaccine. It says plainly, this does not guarantee you any protection whatsoever. You do understand that that vaccine is for something else. And that something else we are going to find out in 2030. Because it's possible that after there is more stuff coming up, so therefore the High Council was trying to kind of counter that, get people better chance of survival. So right now let's talk about Ben and Douglas, their findings about this whole ice age. They are scientists that rely on expertise of other scientists, and most of them, they are old school. The new school of the plasma cosmology coming in is a child, and it's not really the one size fits all, because that's, you remember when the DNA was discovered, yes, we solved the mystery of life. No, it did not. Same thing with the plasma cosmology. This is only one part, element in the whole thing. So many of their findings are correct. The analysis of the evidence that they have at hand might be correct. However, they are dumping everything into one basket, like the ice age, the reversal, and many things that are associated with that into one basket. That is supposed to happen at the same time during that reversal. That's not correct. Ice age is one thing, a reversal something else. We know that Douglas was convinced that Earth is going to stop and then start turning the other way. That's not correct. Earth is not going to stop at all, only slow down, and it's gonna keep spinning. The only thing is going to happen is it's going to tilt on the side, but it's going to keep rotating. The speed is going to change, but we know that he already made the mistake right there. We know that he is off by 6 years. I am not the only one. There are other scholars. I am trying to find you guys some evidence. Many years ago, someone was looking into they were researching all the calendars, how we were measuring time. And they noticed that at some point, it was, I think, 2,000 years ago, someone made a mistake about 6 years about the counting. And that's, everything else was off by 6,000 years. And I don't quite remember, it was already year 6 or they had to add the 6 years. The only thing I know, that was in 70s, believe me guys. From there up to now, I don't know the authors. I don't know where or how to find that information. But the only thing I know, that when I saw that, I was like, holy crap. So that's what it is. And the other thing was that one of those guys, they found the Mayan and Aztec calendars, and they say that the length of the day was different, and so was the number of the days of the year. So there is some kind of issue right there, and I am going to look into that because I really want to find out. I want to see that myself, because from what I am getting, what I was presented, it was that his calculation by the kings or whatever he used in Torah, it's not correct. It's off by 6 years, but that's, on our scale, that's almost nothing. But if it comes to Ben, he's much more correct with his finding, but still he's dumping too many things into one basket, and that is not going to, that may backfire on him. Despite what those two guys are presenting, I know that Kevin is Jamil you are very big fan of both of them. But before you invest, you go all in, just answer yourself or everyone else. Please leave me a comment in the comment section. That if you want to go into the polar reversal survival mode, what is it that you want actually to protect? What is of the greatest value for you that you want to be protected to survive to the next stage? What is it? What is that so important that you want to survive? Well, I can tell you my view, but please stop the video, go to the comment. Please write whatever comes to your mind, because you will be very surprised. You need to understand something in this survival thing. Number one, I already explained to you, we are all energy, and we are going in and out, we are being reproduced every trillions of times per millisecond, every single breathing moment. People want to survive. The physical body wants to survive, not to have pain and suffering, because that's what the main reason for people, they do invest a lot of time and money just to do that one thing, avoid pain. Now, you cannot prevent your body to be destroyed. That never happened. Your body will not survive. This is just life form that is going to die. You know that because look around you, all people die all the time. They cannot survive. That's not possible. This is the one thing that no matter what you do, your life form is going to be disposed. You as you, the thinking one, once you are, you always are. It doesn't matter where or what kind of form you are going to have. You always are. That never is going to change for any reason. It doesn't matter if there is going to be supernova or galactic nova or any other event. You always are. That's not possible for you not to be. So it's kind of strange for people to do so much, invest in this survival, even though the only thing they can do is be, nothing else, because the body, the physical body, is going to be disposed anyway. This does not mean that in the process of, for the people that want to survive, that you should do nothing. You should contribute, but you need to get organized. And all the parts that I was talking today in this video, everything is leading towards one thing. You need to be part of organization. You need to be part of a group of people that's very well organized. And then when you do that, then you will see what the needs of the group are. Then you need to prepare a plan. And when you prepare a plan, you are better fit to survive. Much like ants and bees, you need to look from that angle. Because if you want to do the celebrity style where they start digging all kinds of shelters and bunkers, then that's not gonna work.
Up next. Folks, if you don't believe in Agenda 21, if you don't see it playing out before us, I don't think the internet can help you. This was the first attempt to take the world from us about 2 decades ago, and it flopped. The land use map of the U.S. was shot down unanimously in Congress. And why wouldn't it be? 30% of the country off limits, 50% highly restricted. Pack the humans into little cell living spaces in 100-story tall buildings and 200 to 100 million person megacities. It's literally the scariest and most horrifying plan ever. But it died in Congress, right? Wrong. It's back, and you may have heard of the 30 by 30 plan. This is absolutely 100% a different mask on the same horse. The goal is to crush the economy and create desperation, and then build back better with their new paradigm of a caste system and slavery. For real. That's what's happening to us right now, with COVID being so overplayed, with the mandates, loss of jobs, economic strife, labeling half of us domestic terrorists. Many of you complain that I should leave politics out of this, but this is plainly not politics. This is good versus evil, and the prize is Earth.
Oi, Ben, you are promoting something that is not correct. See, if you spend a little bit of time of digging into that, then you would find out what Agenda 21 is. And you are just repeating this BS that is running around the internet, how they are going to screw us up. Do you know who pays for that? The very same people, the corporate system, the corporate people are paying for that because they know it's time up for them. Do you know why it's time up for them? Because the biggest environmental damage is coming from corporate system. The family damage is coming from corporate system. The amount of depressing people in this world is because of the corporate system. Just make sure you understand that the corporate system is not the same as people working in the corporate system. The people in the corporate system, they do understand that it's time to change, because if 2% of the population is benefiting from this and the others are starving, that means there is something very, very, very wrong. That's why the Agenda 21 was designed. And if you spend a little bit time and read this whole thing, you would know that this is not a law that enforcing by one entity. That means this is a cooperation with all the people, with all the organization, all the ethnic groups, all the social groups. They need to be involved in this. How to distribute the resources, how to take care of the resources, what's the best way where people should live and how people should live, what their needs are, what the dangers are. Have you ever read this whole thing, or are you just mumbling whatever the heck is floating around the internet? Because to me it looks like you are promoting garbage. And the people that are telling you you should stay away from politics, they are your friends. You should listen to them. Because what you just said is a total garbage. And do you know this? Do you understand why they build this in secrecy? Because of people like you who are spreading rumors. They build system of underground tunnels. So in case something happens, they can take the people out of the danger zone and transfer them to another side of the country. Have you ever thought that? That it's much easier to transfer people when they are in one spot than keep looking for them all over the country. Do you understand this? I hope you do. And one more thing. If you do a spouse on the YouTube or actually on the Facebook, make sure that you are single, because when you are a family, when you are married, you have kids, you have wife, and you should not drag them through this garbage. They don't need that. They don't deserve that. You as a scientist, focus on science and don't expose them to this nonsense. You have tantrums, fine, everybody does. Do you think that kids don't know what you have done to the Facebook? They sense that if you are not happy, if you are upset, kids pick on that vibration instantly. So my advice to you is, well, just pipe down a little bit. No one is perfect. I had a few days past at my work. I don't like what I did. I could handle the situation better, but I am single. I can afford that. You cannot. Do understand that, please. What Ben is saying in that video, in that short clip, unfortunately, there is a lot of people thinking the same way. People that are public speaker like him, me, Douglas, and anybody else, before we say something, we need to weigh the words and make sure we understand what we are saying, because those words are picked by others. And especially someone has hundreds of thousands of followers. He is being looked at as authority. The damage is done, it's reversible, but he is also a victim in this whole thing. When Agenda 21 was drawn, the people were looking at everything, at how people are behaving, what the trends are. People are not willing to live in the countryside. Everybody was planning to go live in the city, be close to everything, has the store in their own houses, like just step outside and everything is there. The doctors, the pharmacies, the groceries, and everything in one spot. Therefore, that's how it was designed. The people that designed that, they also knew that they can't get the message to the people. They need to go through organizations where people gather of similar interest. It's much better to communicate with that. So I am repeating this, and I'm gonna keep saying this until I'm done with YouTube completely. Get organized, because that way your voice will be heard. You can voice what your needs are, or your group, and you will be heard. The idea that there is a group of guys that are trying to take over the world partly is true, because there are idiots that are using this situation the dislike towards governments, towards rules, towards anything that is established, that, and they are actually helping make this worse, because they want to use that as opportunity to establish themselves as the one that is going to run the show. And everybody knows, if you have a brain, that every single dictatorship always collapses. Always. There is no time in history where one dictatorship survived. Ever. So anytime someone is trying to control something, they will always lose. Do you think that people on the top over there in the High Council, they don't know that? They do know that. Do you think that they want to control anything? Absolutely not. They are only serving the people with their wisdom. They are serving us with what they know. They are helping to understand what the options are, and so on. But the rest is up to us. And when we sit down and start bitching that there is some guy who is trying to take over, it's not helping. You are attracting more of that shit in. So what would be best way to deal with that? Just get organized. Talk to the people. Okay, how do we guys organize our group of the, let's say, 2,000 people, 10,000 people, whatever. What do we want? How do we live? How do we build houses? How we deliver food? How we look after our health? And so on. All the issues which are important in life. That's when you focus on. That's what you are gonna be getting more. And when there is a progress, you celebrate. You do festivity, because that is attracting more happy moments, happiness, happy ideas, happy. You're healthy. But if you keep saying this nonsense over and over that we are screwed, that's what is going to happen. And the whole plan is outlined in there to bring down the system that is not working, to remove that, replace that. And now they are using different words, because there are people that once in a while they try to show us what is the more effective way, like the reset. The people in the corporate world that are rich, they understand that there's something went wrong, that there shouldn't be 2% of people getting the whole resources to themselves, that the contributors deserve stuff. And they are giving sometimes idea about the autonomous zones, as I already mentioned that. But this is not going to happen on its own. It has to be, someone needs to be proactive. Someone needs to establish themselves as a leader and then take the people and make it happen. But to make it happen the way you want it, you need to have the people that are supporting you. You need the people that are focused on the positive side, on the goal, on a better future, better tomorrow. Not all the people that see everything wrong with this whole thing. They are going to keep doing that, and just get rid of them. Just ask them to leave. All right? So now let's move to the Alex Baldwin situation. What happened on the set back there in Mexico is careless. Alex was very careless doing this. That was really stupid on his part. That's true. I agree with this. But there is also possibility, from what I already understand and I know, that he is probably being set up, because the people around, they were studying him for a while, because you do know that he was playing the Trump on Saturday Night Live for a very long time. He was making fun of Trump, and he was looked from. Some people were looking at his weak spots, and he's not an angel. He has a history of being an idiot once in a while. The fallen marriage, and sometimes he had the tantrums that he threw in the public. So people know him, that he is not a role model for anything, and that's what happened. They probably used that, whoever did the framing for whatever happened, to their advantage. But caution, this is my theory, this is nothing proven, so don't say that, okay, I figured out this whole thing. This is for now, I'm speculating, okay, because that's the feeling I have, that there is coming more with that investigation, that finally they are going to find out how this bullet made its way there. Actually, there were more than one, because the director was also shot. He was wounded. So what happened? Who was the last holding the gun? If the gun is clean, there are no fingerprints, that means for sure that's a setup. But if there are more fingerprints on the gun, that means, well, that might lead to something. What puzzles me the most in this case is that with that shot, 2 lives were destroyed instantly. And Alex is going to suffer for the rest of his life after what happened. Because even though he is a kind of on a wacky side, but he has emotional side, and he will suffer. There is no question about that. Yet there are people that want revenge. The people want him to be prosecuted, to be punished, and so on. Which brings something else to this conversation. If you are living in a world like that, where people are very easily looking at punishment, very easily judging others, very easily are demanding some form of revenge, that society is very sick. They are also victims of the system. There is obviously something very wrong with that. I am not supporting any punishments. I am not supporting any revenge. I am not supporting any going after someone, because that doesn't do anything. The victim is not going to be back alive. Nothing is going to be solved. There is going to be more pain and more suffering. Why do that? Why? It happened, is very tragic. Focus on things that can prevent this from happening again. But that's the way the world is. So I will end this video here. So please, if you like the material, please share. Please subscribe if you didn't yet. Please do check the notification bell. Also give me thumb up. That helps in the ratings. And have a pleasant day, and see you in the next video.